Hello and welcome to Round 4 Flicks. Today, we'll highlight some of the best new web series that were released in August 2023 and September 2023 on various platforms, including Netflix, Apple TV+, and Amazon Prime Video. There are both new and recurring web series with fresh seasons included in our list of the top 10, so feel free to add them to your watch list. Also, let us know in the comments which of these you've watched already, and which you would like to see next. Let's now begin the video. Number 10. The Changeling. Kelly Marcel is the creator of this horror fantasy series. The story revolves around Apollo, a father who journeys through an enchanted world in search of his missing wife and son. All of this occurs when Emma, Apollo's wife, acts strangely, commits a horrible deed, and then vanishes as the couple gets used to their new roles as parents. After this weird event, Apollo finds himself on a peculiar quest to find them, and they are quite different from what he had expected. The story explores more deeply into further strange storylines as it goes along, giving classic fantasy stories sinister new twists. There are now 5 episodes available, covering a variety of topics from Apollo and Emma's unusual book Wedding to Apollo's meeting with an enigmatic washerwoman who might be able to assist him in locating an enemy. The next few episodes will take him further into his journey, which will take him to a remote, abandoned region of ancient myths. The show's concept is complex and requires the audience's complete focus for its creative plot, but the first episode did a wonderful job of introducing the unique tone and characters. Number 9. The Continental. Greg Coolidge and Sean Simmons are the creators of this crime-action miniseries. To put it simply, you will recognize Winston Scott's character if you have seen any of the John Wick films. His early life and his involvement with Rose and the global network of assassins are explained in this series, which also shows how he came to be the proprietor of the Continental Hotel in the John Wick universe. There is a series of hotels known as the Continental that serve as a safe haven for individuals who are from the underworld. The first part of the 3-part series was released on September 22, 2023. The show is set in 1970s New York City and explores the history of the famous Assassin's Hotel from the perspective of a young Winston Scott. The first episode follows Winston Scott, who has to assist his brother in escaping the brutal mobster Cormac, who owns the hotel. The show depicts several takes on real-life events, including the Winter of Discontent and the Mafia's ascent to financial power. Action and John Wick fans will enjoy this. Number 8. Power Book 4 Force. Robert Munich is the creator of this crime drama series. The story revolves around Tommy Egan, who leaves New York to start a new company and goes back to his hometown. When he arrives, he discovers new information about his family and encounters the Flynns, a local criminal family. In the meantime, Samson is released from prison after 15 years in an effort to stay out of serious trouble. However, when Egan chooses to embark on a new beginning in the town, Tommy and Diamond's paths soon cross. This series is strong and has every one of the edgy aspects that make Power series famous. It's a contemporary gangster drama with all the typical storylines, deadly territory conflicts, and rivalry between criminal groups. It is highly recommended for anyone looking for the best crime thriller. Also, the premiere of the 2nd season began, and as of right now, 4 episodes are available. Number 7. Sex Education. I will not tell lies. You are going to be disappointed if you are a fan of this show and feel a certain character should have a better ending in this last season. Season 4 is a huge mess because the world building that was so good in seasons 1 through 3 of the series is entirely ignored. If the series had ended after the 3rd season, even that conclusion would have been far preferable to the one we got in the last season. However, you might like it if you're a neutral viewer who doesn't really care how the characters' storylines conclude. In Season 4, Maeve is in the United States, following her goal of becoming a professional writer, while the Moordale students are enrolled at Cavendish College. The series' remaining episodes focus on the changes that take place at the new school, such as Otis's meeting with another sex therapist and Maeve's attempts at a long-distance relationship, along with a few new faces. The first 3 seasons of the show deftly combine the least explored themes with the joy of young humor and the simplicity of city, but this season feels chaotic, and the disappointing conclusio. Number 6. The Walking Dead, DARYL DIXON. David Zabel is the creator of this post-apocalyptic horror series. It is the 6th television series in the Walking Dead franchise and takes place after the events of the original series' conclusion. 6 episodes are expected, although only 3 have aired thus far. Fans can also be happy as the series has been renewed for a second season. The story centers on DARYL, who escaped the Commonwealth and ended up in France. He is having trouble figuring out why he went there, but on his journey, he discovers himself in a cult run by a nun named Isabel, who takes care of him. However, DARYL's arrival sets off a series of events that lead to the appearance of more dangerous enemies. The show follows him as he makes his journey home through a collapsing yet resourceful France. The French location presents the viewer with a potentially more significant threat to human survival. Fans of the franchise should not miss the first 3 episodes, which provide a satisfying dose of the iconic series as drama and sterling horror. Number 5. The Woman in the Wall. Joe Murtaugh is the creator of this mystery drama series. The story centers on Lorna, who awakens to discover a dead woman inside her house. Lorna doesn't know the identity of the deceased woman, or if she is responsible for the suspected killing. In the meantime, Lorna starts to doubt herself. She has a lengthy history of sleepwalking, going back to her time spent in Ireland's controversial Magdalene laundries. The plot becomes more complicated when the mysterious Detective Coleman starts looking into her for a different crime than the one that killed her. The story of this series takes place from the viewpoint of the main character, and is set against the backdrop of the Magdalene Nurseries incident. Overall, Ruth Wilson's compelling acting, emotional thrillers, and social history combine to create a compelling story. However, this one might not be for you if you dislike thrillers that make you rethink your opinions and viewpoints. Number 4. Song of the Bandits. Hwang Jun-hyuk is the director of this Western action series. The story is set in the chaotic time of Japanese imperial dominance over Korea and tells the story of a group of people who, for various reasons, end up in the lawless nation of Gando and come together to defend the country. The plot tells a compelling, action-packed story of warfare between numerous groups in the anarchic nation of Gando in the 1920s, each with their own goals. The main story follows Korean Commander Lee Yoon of the Japanese Army and rebel warrior Choi Chung-soo as they work together to form a distinct outlaw gang to protect the citizens from the consequences of this developing conflict. The plot combines K-drama's well-known emotional touch with the best elements of a Western thriller. Overall, it is a well-written period action story that stays faithful to the primary premise while focusing on the different aspects of a civilization fighting for freedom. In addition to providing a ton of amazing secular action sequences and deftly balancing the many genres, it tells a very dramatic and emotional story with lots of turns that move the fairly slow plot forward. Number 3. Burning Body. Laura Sarmiento is the creator of this Spanish crime television miniseries. The story starts with the discovery of a burned police officer's body, which eventually sets off a criminal investigation into a maze of illicit relationships, betrayals, brutality, and love triangles involving the dead officer and 2 further fellow agents, Rosa and Albert. You won't be able to stop wondering who killed him while watching the episode since there are enough surprises and story twists to keep viewers guessing about the killer's true motives. The story was inspired by actual events that happened to Rosa Pearl, an ex-Spanish police officer, and eventually led to the death of her partner. The show has really well-balanced writing, which makes it incredibly engaging to watch. Although the main plot does not adequately explain Rosa Pearl's activities, you will still be drawn in by its dramatic tone. Number 2. New Bandits. Mariana Bardem and Eduardo Mello are the creators of this Western crime action series. The story centers on Ubaldo, a regular bank worker with no memory of his childhood who discovers an inheritance that will change his life forever. After that, he goes back to his birthplace of Kratara to settle a succession conflict, and discovers his missing siblings as well as a group of thieves robbing banks in nearby towns. He is ultimately forced to follow his calling as the leader of a gang of extremely dangerous bank robbers in order to continue his true father's traditions, and he also has to deal with criminals who put his own moral standards in danger. This series stands apart from typical Western action shows since it is intended for Western audiences, and the Brazilian perspective on the genre is a wonderful fit. The episodes flow quickly and are jam-packed with action, drama, and real-life scenarios that flesh out the horrific realities of the town's evil citizens, and the robbery sequences are highly chaotic. Number 1. American Horror Story. Ryan Murphy and Brad Falchuk are the creators of this horror anthology series. The primary purpose of each season is to stand alone as a miniseries. For example, the first season of Murder Mansion centers on a group of people who reside in a haunted mansion and is set around 2011. The prisoners and workers of an institution for the mentally ill are the subject of the second season of Asylum, which takes place in 1964. The show's seasons each include a new group of individuals in a brand new location with a completely new story. The 12th season, which takes place in New York City, follows actress Anna Alcott after she discovers that someone is trying everything to stop her and her boyfriend from becoming parents. Unfortunately, Anna finds himself in a number of unusual situations and is forced to escape from an unknown intruder. This season's list includes Kim Kardashian, and while a few more new faces might appear soon, this show is strangely amusing and full of absurd concepts that range from fantastical horror monsters to many more we can't even comprehend. Although the first episode of this season's strange elements doesn't entirely change the tone of the show, they still build curiosity and draw viewers in for the next episodes. That is all for today. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel to view future videos about suggested movies and television shows.